Hi, I'm Nick. Today we'll talk about kicks. First, I want to show you what kicks are made of. I'll split into two parts, the click and the body. This part will be especially readable on regular audio devices like headphones or laptops. The click part is responsible for our perception of how loud, sharp, and bright the kick will be. Click works above 1000 Hz, so it will be heard on any device, since many are actually poor at reproducing low frequencies. That's why this part is so important for us, so that our kick sounds the same everywhere. The body is responsible for low frequencies, for energy, and this is very important at concerts or with good acoustics that can fully reproduce low frequencies. Let's take samples that we think sound pretty sharp. You can even add a high-pass filter so the low frequencies don't interfere with finding good clicks. Great, let's choose kicks from the other samples, the body in which gives a good low end. But we'll cut off the attack from the body so that it doesn't merge with our click. And even after that, we need to move the samples around to match their phase. Try it, you'll hear for yourself that at some sweet spot, your kick will become unified. This will solve the problem where the click and body sound good separately, but don't work together. Since our parts are separated, we can also change key of our body to match key of the track. Now let's talk about the volume of our kick. Often, many producers try to increase volume by clipping, increasing the gain, but it destroys our low-frequency part. Kicks are often enhanced with transient shapers. However, many of these are unsuitable for drum and bass because they have too high a decay value. Some suppress body amplitude. But in my example, I have a good transient shaper. It tries to raise only click. But there is another way. Since our kick consists of two parts, we can manually raise volume of the click, and our kick will seem louder, while our low-frequency part will safe. This way you can make your kick sharper and brighter, and its readability in the mix will be improved. Now let's talk about the length of our kick. Ideally it should be about 1/16 of your BPM. This is one of the reasons why kicks from other genres are not suitable for drum and bass. Let's look at the basic principle of kick synthesis. First, I'll switch to a sine wave. Look, our sine wave is unstable now. Let's fix that. I'll lower the random knob to 0, which means our phase will be relatively stable. Now let's work on the length of our kick. I'll set the hold value to 86 ms, which is 1/16 of my BPM, which is 174. By default, envelope 1 in Serum 2 is assigned to the output signal, so we can immediately create the shape of our future kick here. I'll edit the decay and sustain. I'll increase the output so that the amplitude of my sine wave doesn't exceed 0. Now pay attention. When I raise pitch of sine wave, the amplitude period decreases. When I lower pitch, the period increases. I will assign envelope 2 to pitch. So if we look at our kick, we can see that pitch drops from top to bottom. Let's create the same. There is a small knob next to pitch parameter, with which we can change how much envelope 2 affects pitch. Nice, body is ready. Now let's add a click. I'll use envelope 3 and hang it on the pitch as well. But this time I'll go into matrix mode and remove bipolarity. In Serum 2, you can also do this via a shortcut. I recommend checking out all the shortcuts on their website. To get rid of the digital click, we can move phase of our kick or make decay a little longer. But if we want to make the transient even brighter, we will need an oscillator with noise. I have an envelope 4 left in stock. I'll set it to our noise level. Now let's try the click trick again. Serum 2 allows us to add controlled clipping directly to the oscillator. This time I'll set LFO1 to envelope mode and assign it to clipping. I'll also change the sync mode to adjust the speed of our LFO. Now we see that we are touching the body of our kick. Let's reduce the value so that clipping only works on clicks. After the synthesizer, I'll put a hard clip to cut off everything that goes slightly beyond 0. Now let's give our kick a little character. Besides the fact that you can just add any noise, I want to show you a couple more tricks. I added a filter to Serum FX, but this can essentially be done in Disperser or other plugins with all-pass filters. So we get something like Psytrance kick. Now let's take a little bit from techno scene, but do it our way and make it work in drum and bass. We'll need a down-pitched hi-hat, which we'll put into a convolver, then amplifier, and we'll do all of this in parallel with our kick. As a result, we get a short rumble. There's another interesting plugin if you don't want to synthesize or layer kicks. Then you're like Drum Clone. It works very simply. You load a reference kick, and it gives you an almost exact copy. Thank you for watching.